we go.
Did you say Monday?
So, good morning, ladies. I am super excited to be here today. I've got a small video, just kind of something kind of fun, or just it's nothing that like we've really been doing. I just kind of found it, and I thought maybe it's like a good morning motivation. That's what it said. It was like a morning motivation video. It was like, watch this every time you wake up. I was like, okay, let's try it out. So I pulled it up. I figured we would just kind of check that out, see if we can pull some stuff from it. I'd love to even maybe hear if you guys, how you guys felt about the dreams after we got off our call yesterday. I know that I had kind of talked to Kristen a little bit about dreams last night, or just goals and dreams, and just feeling like I actually, so we were talking, I was going to talk about it if you don't mind, but she was like, man, I'm still just struggling thinking of these dreams and goals that I have, and I kind of like that. I know that it feels frustrating on the inside, but that's a good frustration to have, to be honest. Like, figuring out what you freaking want in life is something you absolutely need to take time to do, and maybe you had never really even thought to take that time before, right? Or you were just surviving. We were just surviving, living life, working, paying bills, and surviving, but there's this point also where it's like, okay, but what am I working towards? What am I getting in the long run other than just living? And so when you kind of start taking a step back from just surviving every single day, and you're like, okay, what kind of life do I envision? What kind of world do I want to create around myself? And you start actually being like, wait, I have to have like dreams and goals in life. Like, whew, okay. So you take a step back and you try and like look at these dreams, and it can be really frustrating if you're like, I've never dreamed before. I've never created goals for myself before. And it gets a little frustrating sometimes. Like I even kind of was, so Kristen had messaged me and she's like, I'm still struggling. I was like, girl, it's funny because right when she texted me, I was like cooking dinner and I was laughing at my dreams. Like not like I was kind of like laughing at myself. I'm like, really, Jen? Like those were your dreams? Like shouldn't your dreams be on the cover of like Oprah magazine? Like shouldn't that be like my dreams? Like they should be like huge, right? And I'm like, and I picked skydiving. I was just kind of laughing at myself because I was like, man, I dreamed so small. In the beginning, initially, I feel like I dreamed so small. Like for those to be dreams, I could probably accomplish pretty much everything on my list in probably 2 years, right? Is that really considered a dream? That's kind of what I was rechecking myself or reanalyzing what I picked. Now, maybe as I achieve these, maybe I start to put bigger dreams on because I realize, oh, I achieved 2 of these. Now I have space open. Now let's start dreaming bigger. So I kind of was like, kind of laughing at myself initially, like, oh my God, these dreams they're not dreams. Like that's something I could easily accomplish within the year. Is it considered a life dream if it's something I can accomplish in a year or even sooner, or like if I really wanted to, I could go today and go skydiving, like I just got paid. I'd be like, hey, Mike, watch Derek, I'm gonna go skydiving. Like, I could do that if I wanted to. And so to me, it's like, is that a dream? Because it could be achieved right now. I don't know. I was kind of like, I was doing like this turmoil. I was like cooking and I was like turmoiling. But it was funny because like Kristen had messaged me like right then. She was like, I'm having trouble still getting my dreams. And I was like, that's so funny. I was literally just laughing at mine. And I don't think that there's a right answer. I think that's the main thing too, is like us as like women or moms or whatever, or maybe just people, we like constantly think there's a right way to do something, or that like we're not doing it correctly. I'm like, oh, that can't be right. Like that can't be a dream. That can't be a goal. That's not big enough. Or, oh, that's silly. We like second guess ourselves, or we put ourselves down, or we instantly doubt something that we wrote down, and I think that's what I was doing to myself. I was just instantly like doubting that those were my dreams, or I was instantly kind of poking fun at myself for wanting to have those as my dreams as well. And so I'm just sharing that with you guys because maybe you did that to yourself as well. Maybe that's why you don't have a list, is because you keep thinking that your dreams are silly. You keep thinking that, oh, that's a stupid, dream, or that's a silly dream, or, oh, that would never happen. Or so you don't put it on there, right? And then now you're sitting there thinking that you don't have any dreams, but really it's your like perspective of your dreams, if that's right. Like it's your perspective of what you think you can achieve. I feel like as we start achieving these dreams, we're going to realize that they're actually really achievable, and then we can go bigger. So just so you guys, so I like turmoiled, and then I brought it back around, and then I was like, I was trying to analyze it. So initially I had wrote down all these dreams, and then I had this like moment where I was like analyzing them and over analyzing them and crushing them like instantly. I was like, no, that can't be a dream. That can't be a dream. And I kind of downplayed my dream list, and I kind of like poked fun at it, and I like laughed at it. But then after that, I was like, but wait, like these are my dreams. I really do want to do these things. And maybe once I achieve them, then I can dream bigger. So then I came back around to liking my dreams again and saying that, you know what, I wrote them down for a reason. That came to my head for a reason. Whether skydiving is silly or not, it's a dream I have. And I'm just going to be okay with that. Even if it is small, even if it is something I could do right now, and so I kind of went back and forth, and maybe you are too. Maybe you're like, okay, these dreams need to be certain things. Oh no, they don't, and you just kind of like, you want to write something down and then you stop yourself, or you write something down and then you scratch it out. You know what I mean? Like we always second guess ourselves, but I just want you guys to know that the thoughts that come in your head are there for a reason. Don't ignore them, and don't downplay them either. Don't dismiss them. Ask yourself, okay, why is that coming to me? Why is this a dream of me? Maybe can I make it bigger? Maybe I want to skydive to the point where I can skydive alone. That's kind of maybe more of a dream. I think maybe, like skydiving once, but skydiving enough to where I could do it on my own. That's kind of like, okay, let's make this dream bigger, So if there's a dream on your list that you're kind of like giggling at, or you're like, I don't know why I put that there, reanalyze it. Maybe you could make it bigger. Like Rachel said, you could always rewrite it if like the wording, or I just think like if you get more details, like you can kind of make it a little bit bigger as well. So just know too that those dreams are not like set in stone. As you achieve them, they go away, and you can replace them with new ones. So, or maybe you have a list of 11. Who knows? It's your list. It's your life. Okay. Remember that what Rachel is doing here are guidelines. Guidelines. And if you guys are anything like me, I love coloring outside the box. All right. Like I'm like just always been that way ever since I was little. I've always been the one that are like, hey, you need to line up over here. And I'm the one lining up over here. Like I just always was kind of that like rebel. I just was a little bit of a rebel. So if you want to do 11 dreams, do 11 dreams. If you need 4 things on your to-do list, do 4 things on your to-do list. It's your life. These are just guidelines. And this is just an idea, something to get you thinking, something to get you moving. But it doesn't mean that it's the rules, It doesn't mean that it has to be black and white. Maybe yours is going to look different. Okay. And that's why I loved like wanting to be able to even like share some of our dreams or goals and things like that, to just know, like I actually, Becky, I tell you, you have no idea how awesome it was to know that you put skydiving too. Like literally you said that and I was like, oh shit, yes. I was just like, oh, my silly dream isn't so silly, because I had validation that somebody else had that dream on there too. And so that's why you guys, sometimes it's so important to share, because you won't believe how many people out there may have the same dream as you, or may be inspired by your dream and say, ooh, that's really cool. I never even thought of that. That's a good idea. Or the fact that I saw, like I think Becky had go through Europe, and then Shelby had screenshot hers and sent hers to me later on in the day yesterday. And I believe hers had go to Europe as well. And so that was kind of cool to be like, wow, we even have like some common dreams. And I'd be like, let's take a big trip to Europe. Like, you know, then like, you know, my wheels start turning. It's like a team trip to Europe. Maybe that's probably future, but you know what I mean? Like I just started getting excited, and it was cool to know that I share dreams with other people, or that my dreams were totally different, you know, that like what I dream about is going to be totally different than what you dream about, but we could still appreciate both of us equally. Right? Like that's kind of what I love about it too, is like your dreams can be totally different, and I can still support you and be your friend and be like, go for those freaking dreams. I'll be over here going for mine, you know? And that's kind of the cool thing about like team support, or just what we've created here, or just even in the challenge group of just supporting people, regardless of whether you're doing bar blend or 10 rounds, you can still support those people, right? Whether you want to lose weight or whether you're trying to put on weight and muscle, I can still support you the same way, right? I can support you in your weight loss while I support you in gaining muscle, or I can support the other person in creating mental strength or maybe a business goal. And that's where like you could start to really kind of see what's happening here is like we're all different. We're all different, but yet we're all still forging and moving in the same direction, which I think is very cool. Even though it's in our own ways or our own pace, you can still feel the momentum of everybody kind of moving forward. And that's what I love about just like community and like camaraderie. Like, I don't know if you guys, I was like a bit, I mean, I was like a cheerleader, so like all through my life. So like, I just like naturally am like, let's all get together and just woohoo, hoo and rah, and like things like that. So I just like naturally like want to collect people and just like celebrate people, because I feel like that's just like what I'm bred to do since I was born. And so it's just really cool to hear some of your guys' dreams. So also, if you guys ever didn't want to share your dreams here, but you did want to share dreams, you can always send them to me in Messenger. Shelby did that. She was like, hey, I'm going to send mine to you in Messenger, you know? And because I know there's a couple goals on there that maybe she didn't really want to like announce to everybody or something like that. But I love that she still shared them with me. So now I get to watch her kind of achieve them. So if you want to share them, maybe you don't want to share them in front of like 20 people, I totally get it. But you want to share them with somebody, share them with your coach, share them with me, share them with a friend, share them with your husband, your mom, whatever, whoever maybe you think somebody can help you achieve them too. You know, like maybe there's your husband doesn't even know your goal, but yet he could totally help you achieve that goal that you have to get to Europe. Maybe you guys can now converse. You'd be like, I didn't even know you wanted to go to Europe. Well, let's start a savings for that, you know? And then maybe you both put in $50 a freaking week, and in a year or something like that, you're going to Europe. You never know, at least until you share it, you know? But also, let me tell you the other side. Don't expect anybody to care about your dreams and goals more than you do. Okay? I had to learn that the hard way for a long time. I didn't understand that like people didn't care about what I cared about for like a long time. Especially when I started coaching you guys, like I was coaching by myself, you know, it was just me. And then I finally kind of got like my mom and my friend and my husband to kind of join me, you know, and like I had like this small little group, but a lot of people didn't see my dream, didn't see my vision. And so when I was like working and grinding and all of that stuff, like a lot of people didn't see that, didn't see this, like a team of people on a screen every single day. I did. I knew that this was going to happen. I was like, I've got a vision. I'm going to have a gang of girls. We're going to be all getting healthy. We're just going to like move through life and like band together. Like I saw that like years before it was ever right here in front of me, right? But that was like a dream of mine. It was a goal of mine that nobody else saw for a long time. And I would get like really upset, you know, I would get like really mad. Like, why don't they see it? Like, why don't they see that they could do this too? Or why don't they support this? Or why don't they try and do, you know what I mean? Like, and I would get really frustrated. And I heard this talk one time, and I don't even remember who it was, what personal development person it was that I was listening to one random day. And they said, no one is going to care about your dreams and goals like you do. And I was like, what? I was like taken back. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, it didn't make sense to me until I took a step back and I was like, oh, that's why when I'm up at 10:30 at night messaging people and Mike's looking at me, why aren't you coming to bed? It's because he doesn't see my goal or dream like I do. You know, there's things that you're going to do or want to do for your goal and dream that other people aren't going to get. They're not going to get it, right? They're going to get why you're waking up at 5 a.m. to press play when you have nothing else to do for the rest of the day because you're quarantined. They aren't going to get it, right? But that's my goal. That's my dream. It's not theirs. It's not for them. It's for me. Right? So just remember that when you are sitting with your husband and you share your goals and he goes, oh, okay, cool. And you're like, oh, how could you not be so excited? I just told you this list of 10 things that you're supposed to just like jump up and like create a plan with me and be like, hoorah, girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I envisioned you were supposed to be. And you didn't do that at all. You just said, okay. That can be like really frustrating, right? But I'm going to tell you, it's not their dream. This list is your dream. Yeah, it may involve them. It may, you may need their help, but don't expect them to be as excited about it as you are. No, I mean, they may be like, man, that's a really great list. They may be like supportive, you know, like, man, that's really good. I hope you achieve all those things. Go, girl. Like, you might get something like that, you know, they're never going to be as excited as you are. Okay? That's okay. It's totally fine. It's like A-OK. Okay? It's going to feel weird. It's going to be awkward if you've never really accepted the fact that somebody's not going to believe in your dream. Like, that's the first time you've ever heard that. If you're anything like me, I was like, what? It just hit me really hard. It didn't make sense to me that like people wouldn't believe in something that I believed in that much. But what I had to do was find the people that did. My goal was to find my other needles in the haystack, was to find that one other girl that did need my help and that did see my vision and that did have similar dreams or had dreams of her own that she was so willing to step out into that she went for them too, and that we could support each other and move parallel together. But that was something I had to see way before it was ever here. And that was something I had to believe on my own way before it ever existed. Okay? So just remember, as you're writing these dreams and you're struggling, maybe it's because you're looking for somebody else's approval. Or maybe you're thinking, oh, these need to be family goals. Nope, they sure don't. They can involve your family, absolutely. But these are your dreams and goals, you guys. If all 10 of them have to do with only you, it's totally fine. Even if you have kids, even if you have a husband, even if you have a house, if all the goals align with you, that's fine. They're your goals. Okay? So if you're feeling selfish in your goals, good. About time. About time you think about yourself for a second, because I'm looking at all you guys and I know the majority of us are moms or wives, and I know that 90% of the thoughts are not about yourself, right? 90% of the thoughts are about your family, are about your kids, are about your households. And so you take 10% for yourself, right? You just take that small little percentage for yourself, but you're going to be so much happier when you do that, you guys. When you actually take a little bit of percentage for just you, The thing is, it always benefits the family anyway. Like we talked about that yesterday. It's like, yeah, these goals might be for you. You have to be selfish in your goals. But when you're achieving goals and hitting these dreams, who are you? You're a happier, healthier, nicer, more productive mom, right? So who's that going to benefit? Your kids, your household, your husband, your family. That's going to all happen naturally when you just say, I'm going to focus on me. I'm just not going to care what anybody else thinks. I'm not going to care what anybody else does or says or whatever. Even if it's my husband, I'm going to focus on me. Because your husband is going to benefit from it anyway. Because you're going to be happier. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be more energetic. You're going to maybe be a little bit more, hey, you know? You might be a little more fruity. You never know, because you're happier, healthier. You got energy flowing. You got hormones going, you know? Just try it. Try to be selfish for like a second. Seriously, just try it. And I'm not saying like selfish as in like be rude, you know, but like think about yourself for a second. You're still a person, right? Right. So I just wanted to like reiterate that, because I know that I kind of was thinking about it last night, and I was going back over it last night for myself, and I was kind of beating myself up about my dreams. And then I was like, wait a minute, they're my freaking dreams. They can be whatever they want, you know? And so I know that if I was continuing to think about it and turmoiling about it, most likely some of you guys thought about it afterwards as well. And so I just wanted to give you like how I kind of felt about it once I had worked through it, you know? And I'm even a pretty mentally strong person. And I still had that moment of weakness where I made fun of my own dreams. I still had that moment of weakness where I second guessed my own dreams. Right? And I'm here leading the freaking meeting. So I can only imagine how much you guys probably second guessed your own dreams. Right? Like if I'm sitting here second guessing my dreams, and I feel like I'm somebody that's supposed to be like leading, like shit. It was like, how am I supposed to help them lead their dreams? And honestly, the biggest thing I can say is own up to it. Just own up to the fact that you have dreams, and they may not involve your family. That's fine. It's totally okay. Okay? So go for your dreams, because you guys, when you are happy and healthy and going for your dreams, your family is going to benefit. Okay? You sitting at home being annoyed, angry, anxious, and yelling at your kids because you're annoyed, angry, and anxious because you've got nothing for yourself. You're just looking at your kids and you're like, oh, you're all I live for. You're going to get frustrated, and that's not helping them at all, right? Like, that's not the mom they want. They want the mom that shows them how to live, how to enjoy, how to create joy, how to have energy and be creative. And you know, that's the mom that they want. So how can you give that to her? By focusing on yourself. Seriously. I know it feels backwards. I know it sounds backwards. But I think if you guys would just try it, you're going to realize it's actually the best thing for you. Okay? Because putting your kids first all the time, I know it sounds weird, and I know it probably sounds like really like, ooh, but like when you put your kids first over yourself every single time, what are you teaching them? What are we teaching them? You know? I think of it as too, for like me, it's like I want Derek to teach or to treat his wife with respect and you know, that kind of stuff. And so how could I expect him to teach a woman respect if I don't even respect myself? Does that make sense? So if I won't even take time for myself, if I won't even respect myself enough to care about my health, care about my body, care about not even the way I look necessarily. I'm not talking like makeup. I'm talking about like what I put in my body. Am I getting sleep? What am I listening to? What am I watching? How do I walk? How do I carry myself? the way I carry myself and I treat myself is exactly the way that Derek's going to treat women, or how he thinks women treat themselves, or how he can treat women, you know? But if I sit there and I go, dude, ain't allowed. You better respect me. You better listen to me. You gotta, you know what I mean? Like, you kind of demand that respect. And I respect myself in the same sense. So I expect myself to be respected. I treat myself with respect. That's how he's going to learn how to treat women. Okay? It comes from how we treat ourselves. And I even heard, just like yesterday, I was like listening to a video too, Mike was playing, and it said, like, how we treat ourselves is how we show other people to treat us too. So if I love myself and I treat myself with respect, other people are going to love me and treat me with respect as well. If I treat myself like a dump station or like a POS, that's exactly what people are going to see and treat me as well. Okay? Same goes for your kids. You think they don't see that? Oh, they see it. They see it. Okay? Or they feel it. Okay? They feel that energy. They may not see you talking crap to yourself in the mirror, but they know it. They know you think that about yourself. Right? So how you treat yourself is showing them how to treat you and the rest of the world. And I'm seriously, guys, I'm not talking about like makeup and like being all prim and proper. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how you hold yourself, how you carry yourself, how you walk into a room. That's what I'm talking about. The energy you bring when you walk into a room is how you're like literally teaching people to treat you. Do you walk in a room all timid and scoot over to the side and sit down and hope nobody talks to you and hide in the back? Or do you walk into a room, hey, what's up, guys? How are we doing? Oh, you know, how are you walking? And I'm not saying you have to be like that if you're like more of like an introvert. There's still ways to enter a room with assertion, assertiveness. I don't know what that word is. And you can still be an extrovert or an introvert and come into a room with confidence. Okay? Confidence has nothing to do with like being an extrovert or an introvert. Confidence is something that you instill in yourself. Okay? So confidence is something that you give yourself. And it's a decision. It's a decision. And it's a skill that you can continue to decide to work on. It's a skill. Okay? Confidence is not something you're born with. It may have been groomed over time. Maybe your parents built your confidence. You know, maybe your parents didn't build your confidence. So maybe you have a low self-esteem on the inside because of the past that you have endured. But that doesn't mean that you can't decide today that you're going to have confidence, because you can. Just like that. New you, right? New you. Same you, new mood, and that mood is confidence. Right? Like, you guys have that opportunity every single day, but it's a choice we have to make every single day too. There's some days I choose confidence, 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 confidence. There's some days where I see that I chose not to be confident. I questioned myself. I doubted myself. I was in fear. And so I didn't make that move. I didn't message that person. I didn't reach out to that thing. I didn't post what I thought I was going to. I didn't say what I wanted to. Right? There's times where I question my own confidence. That's going to happen. Recognize it. Say, okay, I kind of handled that wrong. Or why am I doubting myself here? I should be totally confident in this. Why am I doubting myself right now? You know, recognizing the thoughts that are coming into your head can help a lot. And I think as we become more consciously aware of the thoughts coming in our heads, we can change them and say, okay, that's not serving me. That uncertainty is not serving me any purpose. So let's just acknowledge the uncertainty. and let's move to certainty. And how can I still make action and move forward? Okay, acknowledge it, say, you're getting a little fearful, but remember that fear and excitement are the same thing, but they cannot live at the same time. Okay, so anytime you're like, I'm fearful, I'm doubting myself, know that fear and doubt cannot live coexisted with like love and certainty and oh God, I forget that word. Whatever. You guys get it. But you know what I mean? You cannot have fear at the same time. Okay. I'm gonna pop over to the chat here because I just realized. Yeah. I am from a big family. That's a true story. Our family is huge. So my dad's like, I don't know, actually, like one of so there's like 12, and then like his dad had like 4 more. So I think my dad's like one of 16, possibly more than that, because they come out of the woodwork every once in a while, like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm your other uncle. I'm like, who are you? Our family is funny. It's funny though, because my dad's like one of 16 and my mom's one of 8. I have over 50 aunt and uncles. I don't even know them all. Like, I have probably hundreds of first cousins. It's insane. They're like everywhere. I don't remember why you said that, Amanda, but I just thought that was funny that you pointed that out. So awesome, guys. So hopefully that kind of helps you guys when you're thinking of your dreams and goals. Be selfish. Be selfish. And be confident in being selfish. I know it's going to sound weird. I know it feels weird. It feels weird saying it. But the more, and you guys, when I say selfish, you guys I hope you guys know I don't mean like don't share, the Twizzlers or something like that. Like, you can still like share with your family. You still love your family all the same. I'm just talking when it comes to dreams and goals, they have to align with you. And if they're all about your kids or all about your family, we're missing something. Okay? I want them to be about you. Because, like I said, the moment they're about you, they're going to benefit your family anyway. Because your family is going to get a happier, healthier, more present parent than ever before. It feels backwards because it's against everything we've ever learned, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but my mom, she was a mom. I mean, like, she worked at the time, like she was a secretary at the bank, but like my mom was like that diehard mom, like she was, like I told you guys, she was like all of a sudden just like the coach of my team. Like, she was always just there. She would like sit at my practices. I would go to gymnastics for 3.5 hours and she would just sit there and crochet for 3 hours while I was at practice. Like, not that I won't do that for my kids, but sometimes I'm like, Mom, didn't you have your own shit that you could have done? Or like, didn't you have your own goals to like, and I don't think she regrets it, but I wonder, had she not been there, what would she have done? What could have my mom achieved? She's already, and at the time she had actually, now she's the vice president of a freaking bank. She was achieving things. And I wonder, man, if you hadn't been so focused on us kids, what kind of goals could you actually have achieved? Not that I think that she regrets it, and not that I regret having her around, but I wonder, how much more could she have achieved had she actually set her own goals? I don't know. It's just something to think about. It's just something to ponder. I want to be there for my kids just like my mom was, but I also want to have my own shit, because I know, just like Lisa was saying yesterday, they're not always going to be here. There was a point when my dad passed away, and I think that's why my mom slipped such far into depression, is because my dad was my mom's life. She ran his store. She worked with him. They always went to flea markets, and it was really whatever my dad kind of wanted to do. And so when my dad passed away, I remember somebody asking my mom what her hobbies were after my dad passed away, and she tried to tell them it was fishing and hunting. And I was like, no, it's not, Mom. That's my dad. That was what my dad liked to do. And I remember thinking that, like, she had I remember, like, it was like 5 years ago. She had commented on something. I don't know how it came up or what had happened, but I remember reading it or hearing her say it, and I was like, "Those aren't your those aren't your hobbies. My mom didn't do that. My dad did, you know." But she was so much with my dad, and my dad was really my dad was the person that would just go for his dreams and goals. Like, my dad was the person on, like, Thanksgiving, we would eat before noon because he was gone after noon, because he would, like, go off hunting somewhere. Like, that was like, my dad was like, it's Thanksgiving, I don't give a shit, it's first day of hunting season or whatever. He's like, I'm out of here. Like, he didn't care. So I'm kind of actually glad that I got a little bit of him, because I think it does make me, like, he was like overly selfish though. Like, my dad was like all the way on this end and my mom was all the way on this end. So maybe hopefully I can get somewhere in between where my mom would make all these sacrifices, but my dad was like super selfish. So I'm like somewhere in the middle. Hopefully I can be like a combination of both of them. But I think we do have to find that balance. We can't give up everything, you know, but we can't also just assume everybody's going to do everything around us. So find your balance, but think about it, you guys. Analyze. Okay, where am I at? You know, it's just something to think about. That's just where I really want to like bring it up, is because it's just something to think about. Where am I at on the spectrum? Are all my goals about my kids? Did I be so freaking selfish I didn't even think about, you know, my kids? So you got to find somewhere, you know, you got to kind of maybe analyze where you're at, because you might not realize it. You guys, like, when I realized that people weren't going to care about my dreams the more that I did, I was like taken back. But it was the most eye-opening thing I could have ever heard, because I realized that I don't have to wait for people to work hard. I can work hard. I just work hard. I'm not waiting for other people to work hard, so I work hard. I just do it because that's who I am and that's aligning with my goals. I'm not waiting for people to go, okay, Jen, did you do your warrior hour? Did you do it? I don't wait for people. I just do it. I'm here, right? That's a decision I made. I don't wait for somebody to say, okay, are we doing it today? I just do it, right? I didn't ask for permission. There's times where Derek comes in, like, I just like, we just keep moving, we just keep going. I pause it, my dog's puking, we're still going. All right, it's good, guys. Like, you know, like, it's gonna be kind of interesting along the way, but I'm here. So find what you freaking believe in. Find a dream, find a goal, and go for it yourself. Stop waiting for other people to come and do it for you, or to be like, okay, did you do that goal today toward your dream? I just want to make sure, because nobody's going to be there to check on it for you. You have to do that for yourself. Okay. That was like one of the biggest, I'm telling you, when I heard that nobody else was going to believe my dream, it released me from needing approval. That's what it is. It released me from needing approval to go do things. I was like, oh, I just give myself permission for that shit? Oh, easy peasy. Let's go. Like, and I just put the pedal to the metal and I didn't stop. And here we are, you know? And thank God I'd heard that, because if not, I probably would still be waiting for my coach to message me going, did you do that? Because a lot of you guys may not know, but like, so my coach had kind of actually quit on me after like 3 months. She was amazing, and actually we still stay in contact. She just does real estate as well, and she was doing both at the same time, and she just really decided to go with real estate instead of coaching. She's still technically a discount coach, but she, you know, she pops in every like 6 months and is like, how are you? I'm like, oh, hey, you're live. She's a really great woman. I mean, I thank her every day for, like, you know, opening up Beachbody doors to me. But there was a moment where I was very bitter, because I felt left behind. Like, I was like, okay, you signed me up, I'm here doing this, and then you left me, and I don't know what I'm doing. And I kept like waiting for her to like tell me what to do. And I was like, there was just a moment where I think I might have heard that quote. It was just like, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to approve it for you. You don't need people's approval. You don't need people's permission to go for these dreams and goals. Do it. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't need to ask my coach if I can open a group. I don't need to ask my coach if I can open a like page or do a challenge group or post a warrior hour. I just do it. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for somebody's approval. Lead from the front. Step up into that role yourself. Be willing to be seen as a team of one. Way before you can ever be a team of 500. You have to be willing to be seen as an individual before other people are going to start joining you. Whatever it is you're doing. Okay? You have to believe in your dream first. You have to believe you deserve your dream. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. How many of you guys wrote down dreams that you don't think you deserve? Yeah. We gotta believe we deserve it, you guys. I gotta believe I deserve to live on a houseboat. I gotta believe I deserve to run a 15-star diamond team. I have to believe I'm capable of doing that. Capable of running a 15-star diamond team. I have to believe that way before it's here. I don't have a 15-star diamond team, but I know I'm going to get one. I know it's going to happen. How long? Couldn't tell you. Could be 6 months, could be 6 years. I don't know. I'm in it regardless because it's my dream. And I'm going to work my ass off until we get there. And even when we get there, guess what? We're going to replace it with a new goal. We're going to replace it with a new dream. And we keep on trucking. Because the moment you put the brakes on, oh, you guys know what happens. You're going to get ran over. You're going to get ran over. Okay? We never stop. Have you guys ever seen, is it Boss? No, it's Storks. I get Boss Baby and Storks mixed up every once in a while, but Storks, there's this part where the parents, they're like real estate agents, and the kid really wants a brother, and so he's like writing the Storks to get a brother, but the parents are like, no, we don't need another kid, and their slogan is, we never stop, and they just say it all the time. They're like, we never stop. I'm like, holy shit, Mike, that's me and you. We literally never stop. Like, we are just always like, our wheels are always turning. We're always grinding. We're always like doing something, thinking of something, moving something. And I think that's just how life has to be. Because the moment you stop, you're losing momentum, which is not an option. Not an option. Okay? Remind yourself that. This is not an option to stop. I could take a second to breathe. I could take a second to recover, a day, maybe. Next day, you get up and you're right back at it. You know, that's why you only have 1 to 2 rest days on a workout program. They don't say take a week off and come back next Monday. Heck no, because what's that going to do? You're going to lose all your momentum. They're like, yo, you get 1 day, 2 days max. Don't you dare go that 3rd day. Because, oh my God, on that 4th day, guys, you know it's so hard. If you guys ever taken like 3 days, you know, you're supposed to take like 2 days and you end up taking 3 days. And then that 4th day you come back and you're like, oh, these 10s are so heavy. Like, I don't know, that happens to me. And I'm just like, and then I beat myself up and I feel guilty and I shame myself because I took 3 days off. Right? So you guys see this cycle that we just like constantly go through. It's like we choose to do things that don't serve us. And then we beat ourselves up and feel guilty and shame ourselves to make ourselves feel even worse. And you continue going down this hole. Or you can buck up, be proud, and find a way to be grateful for it. Whatever it is. It's 1 or 2 options. but they can't live simultaneously. You can't be grateful and shameful at the same time. Okay, you can't shame your body and be grateful for it at the same time. Right? Like, because how weird would that be? I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so fat. Thank God I have this body. Like, it just feels weird, right? Like, it feels weird trying to say them right back to back. You know, you got to choose one. And if I'm going to choose one, obviously don't choose shame. Don't choose guilt. Because that's not going to serve you, you guys. It's not at all. It just does more damage, you know? And we've been doing damage for way too long. Right? Damage is done. Like, seriously. Stop that. What is that song from? Or what is that from? It's from a song. What is
That's it's Timberland. Who is that? Is it Dre or like Timberland where he's like, oh, the damage is done, but
yes.
I guess.
Okay. I was like, where did I get that? I was like, the damage is done. Like, no longer allowed in this body. Like, whenever you think of like, maybe that's even like a good little like reminder. Whenever you start to shame yourself or feel guilty or talk crap to yourself or whatever, just be like, yo, the damage is done. Like, move it out of your head, move it on, move into a positive state. How can I be grateful? How can I move myself? Boom, switch it just like that. Okay? That's how quickly you have the power to switch it if you would let your ego down. Ego and pride, you guys. Whoo, buddy. It'll kill you. Because we hold on to things like, oh, this is just how I always think, or, oh, this is just how I am. I just always do this when I do this. I just self-destruct when this happens.
Even better.
Not anymore.
Even better that you're talking about shame. That song is Cry Me a River.
Oh. Cry me a river. Yes. I feel like this is going to come into my head if I ever start like feeling like, oh, poor me. And it's like, oh, just Justin Timberlake it, you know? Like, don't be Justin Timberlake. Cry me a river. Yeah, dude, that's so funny. That is exactly what it is. And we are no longer living there. It's not serving us. Okay? Get out of that negative space, please. Because imagine if all of us came out of our negativity and lived a positive life. And we all have families or somebody that we're connected with. And now they're being affected by our positivity. And then they go out and they affect people with positivity and blah, 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 ripple effect. Right? Same goes for negativity. You're mad, you yell at your son. Your son starts acting out. He goes into the bathroom. He starts bugging the dad. The dad gets mad, and then he's on the phone because he's trying to work. And now he's being rude to the person on the phone. And now the person on the phone is being rude to the other workers because you see this ripple effect? It can happen either way. The ripple effect is going to happen regardless. But when you have an effect on how it's going to ripple from you, you have the start. Like, wow, I could either ripple out negativity or I could ripple out positivity. It's a choice. It's a choice. And the more you become consciously aware of the choices you're making, the quicker you can begin to change them. The quicker you can stop them before it even happens. It's hard though, okay? Don't let me try and pretend it's easy, okay? Or don't think that just because I'm talking about it, that I just like treat my son like a little prince, okay? I yell, I scream, I make mistakes. Last night at 8 o'clock, I said, if you don't get in your freaking bed because I can't deal with you anymore, I couldn't. I was done. I was over it. And I acted in a way that probably wouldn't have served me or served him, but it happened, right? So I had this moment after I did it and I knew that he fell asleep that I could have felt really guilty, right? I'm like, oh, probably didn't, now he's all sleeping and I was mean to him before he went to bed and I could have like felt guilt, right? I could have easily spiraled down that guilt. But I said, you know what? He's going to be fine. He'll be fine. We'll wake up tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. He's fine. And actually, you guys, you know what? He woke up this morning and he said, I'm sorry I was angry last night. Like, he apologized. And I was like, oh, Bubby, no, that was mom. I was like, mom was just tired, you know? And we talked about it. And like, and then he just like laid on the couch this morning and he was just like, it was over, you know? So I could have sat there and beat myself up over it all night, right? Woke up with a chip on my shoulder or guilt in my stomach, but that wouldn't have served me, right? So last night I said, you know what? He's going to be fine. We'll talk about it in the morning. He's fine. He's a resilient little child. And he was acting like a little shit, you know? So he kind of deserved to have to go to bed at 8 o'clock and by himself. So I was just over it, you know? And this morning we talked about it. It's fine. He's fine. Okay? He's fine. We're fine. So stop playing it worse in your head. We are so creative, right? We will create scenarios in our head. Who knows where they came from, right? Have you guys ever done that? You're like, oh, what if this happens and then this happens and then this happens and oh my God, what if this happens? And you've created like this whole scenario that doesn't exist. And now you've created like fear and anxiety about something that hasn't happened, all because you allowed your brain to spiral. I used to do this really bad. I will be honest with you guys. I used to spiral about like my boyfriend's cheating on me all the time. Like I was like really paranoid, even before Mike. Any boyfriend I had, like, dude, I would just spiral. I would just like get these thoughts of like, oh, they're probably doing this and this and this and this and this and this. And I would just like create all these crazy scenarios and stuff. And when I met Mike and like, I had to actually like specifically change my brain because we would get in these fights of like these scenarios that I created in my head that weren't real. Like I would just create all of these crazy things because I would allow my brain to just spiral down this thought and it would just go and go and go and go. And eventually I had to just tell myself like, you got to stop that. You just got to stop doing that. And then once I stopped doing it in this area, I realized how much I was doing it in other areas. You know, I realized that I could be driving down the road one time, like this is kind of how I would spiral. I would be driving down the road and I would imagine myself like wrecking. And then I would spiral to the point where I was watching the wreck to the point where I was like, who would show up at my funeral? Ooh, what would they do? What would they be like? Ooh, who would cry? And I would literally spiral on these thoughts, right? And then all of a sudden I'm creating anxiety because I think I'm going to die. And I'm like, what if these people don't even show up? How would this person find out? Ooh, would this person even know? Da-da-da. Like, I just, you know what I mean? You start creating all these crazy scenarios. And I'm like, why am I thinking of this? I'm driving down a road and I did not wreck. Why would I even go that far into something that negative? Right? And it's funny because even just yesterday, I was telling you guys to get detailed, you know, in your dreams in a positive way. Okay. Allow your brain to spiral out of control as you dream in a positive way. Okay. Control your spirals is really where I'm going with that. Control your spirals. Okay. So if you're spiraling out of control in a negative thought, you got to stop yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done with that thought. Okay. It is not serving you. Okay. Find a way to spiral into positivity. Okay. It's going to be hard, but once you recognize it, you're going to be like, ooh, that's not serving me. And you're going to start to pinpoint things that you didn't even know were going on in your brain. Okay. And I realized, the more I do personal development, the more I do mental health awareness, I realized how many thoughts I have that I was not aware of, or scenarios that I create in my head that I was not aware of that I was really creating. Yes, I was creating them, but I was not acknowledging the fact that they weren't serving me. And so I know if I was having that, I can only imagine how you guys have that or the rest of the world creates that. you know? I would say half of our anxiety is over things that haven't even happened yet, right? Like, especially right now with like world pandemic, we're all like, what's gonna happen? Oh my God, what if they shut everything down? What if we can never have basketball games again? What if, I don't know. What if your freaking life away? But we don't know. We don't know. So stop spiraling in that direction. What if this goes away and we go right back to normal and you can have your basketball games and you can have your events and da da da? What if all this positive stuff, right? You could spiral either way. But the moment you have to be like consciously aware of the things coming into your head and how you're thinking about them. So we have to become more aware. Okay, so I think as we become more aware of our thoughts, that will become more aware of our actions. As we become more aware of our actions, our reality is going to change, our perspective is going to change. As we become more reality and aware of what's actually in front of us, not what we've created or think it is, then we can be happier, healthier. We could live in the moment. We can now be happier with our kids and our husbands. When we're happier, we create better dreams, we create better goals, we create better households. Do you guys see where this is going? Creates a better life. Starts up here. Everything starts up here. You want to lose weight? Get your mind right. You want a better job? Get your mind right. You want a better family? Get your mind right. Be willing to do it alone. Be willing to take a step out in front, into the lead, and do it alone for as long as it takes. Not, oh, well, I'll do this for 3 months. And if when that 3 months is up, nobody joined me, then I'm quitting. Or if my family didn't get on board after a month of doing this, then it's just probably never going to happen. Well, I'll tell you what, if you said that, it's probably never going to happen because you allowed something to roadblock you. What if that next week your family would have been on board? What if that next day you would have had that first challenger? But you quit because you put time limits on it, because you put restrictions and barriers on it. Now you aren't even going to ever experience that. Okay? So you guys, we just have to start here, which is what we're doing here at Warrior Hour. You know, I mean, this has helped me so much. Being here every day and forcing myself to be positive. Wow. I can only imagine where I would be if I had not been here with you guys every single day. You know, I could only imagine the headspace of our team. I could only imagine that I probably wouldn't have finished 6 weeks of the work. I probably wouldn't have joined in on 10 rounds. I can only imagine the damage I would have done to myself, my family, my household, my community, had I not been in the right headspace during all of this. You know? So let's be grateful for that. Let's recognize that. Like all the hard freaking work you're doing here, even if it's not sweating, like the work we're doing up here, you guys, ooh, buddy. I know it's hard to like recognize it because there's no like transformation. Like you can't put photos next to each other and be like, wow, look at her brain, you know, look at her thoughts. But you can't really measure it like you would normally. Like we feel like, oh, I could step on a scale and know I'm losing 5 pounds. Cool, results are happening. The mental growth is a little bit different. It's weird because how do you measure it? You know, how do you show, oh, look how different I am now, you know, until a situation comes up and your husband goes, wow, you handled that really well. And you go, I know. Kept my cool and everything, huh? That's when you can have those moments of like joy, or you realize like, wow, I really am changing. Wow, I really am making a difference. I really am having, you know, I really am lifting, or things like that. Like, but it takes so much longer for people to notice your mental transformation, which can be frustrating, right? Because you are doing all the work up here all day, every day, grinding in your brain. And when somebody doesn't realize it, or somebody doesn't acknowledge it, or they say, oh, well, that's how you always are. And you're like, no, I'm a different person now. I'm a different person. You can't judge me on who I was last week because I heard this personal development and now I'm a new person. And they're like, yeah, right. They're like, just last week you got mad about that, and you're going to tell me this week you're just not going to get mad about that. They're going to be like, yeah, right. I remember when I first started like coaching and doing self-development stuff, like I wanted to make all these changes, but Mike still knew me as who I was a month ago before I started doing all of this. And so he was like, yeah, sure, you've made all these changes. Sure, you're a different person. And I was like, I am. I've been doing all this stuff and da 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 da. And I was, but it took a lot longer for him to see that, because I didn't have pictures saying, yeah, look, 1 and 2, look at these. There's no picture, there's no validation, there's no proof. You only know, right? So just know that you're going to know that you changed before anybody else knows. Okay. So there might be a time you get in an argument with like your husband or your spouse because they're used to you responding in a certain way. And as you're working to try to be somebody different, that's going to be hard, right? Because they're still responding to you as who you used to be. And you're like, no, I'm over here now. But they don't know that. They don't know. You have to prove it to them over and over and over again. You have to prove it. You have to talk to them and say, hey, I'm really trying to work on this. I know it's going to be hard, but I'm going to let you know that this is where I'm trying to work on me and you, maybe not arguing when something happens. I'd really love if we could just talk it through. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's different. I know it's really different than what we're used to, but I feel like it's going to move us in the right direction. You got to be willing to say, man, I'm sorry. The way I've been handling that is not serving us. So I'm going to try something different if you're okay with that. I bet they're going to be like, no, I really love it when we argue. No, I really love it when you're a bitch, like they're not going to say that, right? Now they may get a little defensive maybe at first, like, yeah, sure. Or they may like poke fun, but they may not get it right away, but they're going to walk away or they're going to go to work or they're going to sleep on it. And I'm going to tell you it's in their head now. And now they know you're working. They know that you're doing the work. So I think it's really important to share with your partner or your family or your kids that you're doing work over here. Not just physically, you're doing a lot of mental work. And I think it's really important to share that with your partners or the people in your household so they can begin to recognize it. Or so you can say, hey, I'm really, really trying not to yell. I'm really trying to work on my yelling. I yell. I'm like a yeller. I don't know. Like my family was a yelling family. And so like it just like comes from there. And like I can't stand it. Like when I start yelling and I get mad at myself because I'm like, why are you yelling right now? Like you can easily keep your cool and talk through this. But it's something I'm working on, And I tell Mike, I said, can we just try not to yell tonight? Like, can we just, I know it's going to be hard. Derek didn't nap. We're just going to get him through. Like, can we just be on the same page and just try not to yell? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But at least Mike and I are on the same page. We try. We just try. But you got to tell him. You got to talk to him. You got to be willing to say, hey, I'm working on this. I don't have it all figured out yet. I can't guarantee that I say I'm not going to yell and I'm not going to yell, but I just want you to know that I'm really trying to be aware of it. I'm really trying to work on it. You got to be in communication, you guys, especially with your partner. And if you want to be with them for life, communication is key. And don't have expectations that they're going to just get it. Okay? They're probably not. But at least you've said it. At least you've expressed it. At least you've shared it. And then that process of discussing it can move forward. But don't think that just because you said it, they're just going to get it. Be like, oh, okay. Mom's not yelling anymore. Great. They're probably not going to believe you. They're probably not going to get it. but I think it's still important to share it. I still think it's important to repeat it. I think it's important to continue doing the work. Okay. And eventually they'll get it. The only reason I know I can say that is because Mike and I have put in the work and we're still working. But I mean, not a lot of you, I would say probably Lisa's the only one here. Lisa, you know how Mike and I used to be when we lived in Indianapolis. We were not a pleasant couple. I mean, we were cool people to be around, but man, when we fought, whoo, buddy. I mean, I've slept over at Lisa's house before. I was like, I'm done. Like, we ain't doing this. Like, it escalated like ridiculous amounts of time. We don't do that anymore because we put in the work for years and still put in the work, you know? But it took me first. It took me first. I had to put in the work on myself first. I had to find who I was again, not being a mom, you know, with being a new mom, and we moved and I didn't know anybody and we kind of fell into some hard times and I was really struggling. I had to put in the work on me first. And then I started sharing it with him. And then I was patient with him. And now 4 years later, he's finally coming around to doing what I'm doing, to seeing what I've been preaching. 4 years, you guys. Do I need to say that again? 4 years. It takes a long time, okay? But what do you got to do? 4 years is going to go by regardless. So we could have stayed in that shit. We could have continued arguing. We could have continued that lifestyle, and we probably would have. But I said, it's not an option anymore. I'm over it. I'm done with that. We're going to be different. And I'm going to put in the work. And I'm going to ask you to put in the work right along with me. And let's be different. Okay? But it took me first. That's why I say, get selfish. That's why I say, make those dreams about you. Because the moment you put in the work, they're going to see it. And they're going to want to do it too. Okay? All right. I didn't play that video at all that I wanted to play for you guys. And actually, that conversation came out of nowhere. But I just talked for an entire hour. So hopefully you guys got something out of it. I don't know. I feel like it's funny because in the beginning, when I first started doing Warrior Hour, I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to talk about every day? Am I going to even have enough to talk about every day? But as I've done it more and more, I am like literally booming with momentum and motivation. Like I literally, like, words flow out of me at this point because I have just like, I just have a wheel spinning in me right now that is just like motivation on stack is how I feel. Like it's just like creating itself. I kind of said that to you guys before. So it's just really cool to know that I can come here and just be like, unleash motivation on you guys because it motivates me. It empowers me. I leave these calls and I'm always like, oh yeah, let's do it. What do we got? Oh, bring it on. You know, like I'm always just like really excited when I get off these calls. I feel like I can take on the world. And I hope that kind of brings even a smidge of that to you guys as well. Cool. I love you guys. I love that we get to spend time. It was spot on. Good. That's exciting to know. I know that a lot of us have spouses, and I know a lot of us are just trying to figure it out, you know? I'm not saying I'm like some like counseling or, you know, or anything like that. And I don't want to give you guys any like couples counseling. I'm just speaking from experience. I'm just speaking from what's worked for me, you know, and how far Mike and I have come makes me realize that it's possible for other couples as well. Absolutely. It is. If you're willing to do the work and you guys love each other and you know that you want to make it work, it'll work. Ooh, I'm going to leave you guys with this last. Okay, so this is a tidbit I also learned way back when that really changed Mike and I as well. So, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you have to do 50-50. Like your relationship should be 50-50, right? I put in my 50, you put in your 50. Ain't true. It's 100 to 0. I put in 100 because that's who I am. And I don't expect anything from you. That's how it should be. I treat you this way because that's who I am. I don't expect anything from you, but if I get something, it's a bonus. Because a lot of people go, well, I'm putting in my 50. Why aren't you putting in your 50? I'm doing the work. Why aren't you doing the work? But if you just said, I'm putting in 100 because that's who I am. I don't expect anything from you. Anything from you is a bonus for me. That was something that really switched for me when I realized, like, oh, my expectations of what I think Mike should be doing because I'm doing this is actually ruining the situation. I was actually ruining a lot of what was happening because of my expectations on what I was doing. I thought he should be doing exact same or more or bigger or matching it. And it was ruining what was happening. So when I learned, oh, I do this, I get you coffee because I just love you. Not I get you coffee because I expect you to have something for me sitting out too. That's not how this works. Okay? It's 100 to 0. Okay? Try that. Try it. You are who you are because that's the kind of person you are. Not because you're expecting other people to do things for you, not because other people are expecting you to be a certain way. You are who you are because that's who you are. And you give 100 no matter what to anybody and everybody. Okay? Try it. I love that. I think that was like one thing that really made me switch when I just stopped expecting things from Mike because I was doing things. Right? That ruins a lot of stuff. Then it ruins the moment because I'm like, I did all of this and you did nothing, you know? When in regard, it doesn't matter whether he did anything. I did this because that's who I am. Not because I wanted something from you, you know? Because then you're setting yourself up for failure, for sure. Because they're never going to do what you want them to do. Let's be real. But they also might surprise you. They also might go above and beyond and give you something that you never would have thought of. You know? So get expectations a kick to the door, okay? Just be present and be you because that's who you are. Be giving. Okay? All right. Do things with love no matter what the response. Yes, I love that, Karen. Yes, do things just because that's who you are. Like, do love because that's who you are. You love people and you're a loving person, so you give love. Not because you want people to love you back. Because I'm going to tell you, if that's what your intentions are, you're not going to get it. If your intentions are to love somebody because you think they're going to love you back, that's not how it works. They have to choose to want to do that too. Okay? And you can't make them. They have to want to do it too. Okay? All right, ladies. Oh, wheels are turning. I see faces turning, wheels turning. Ah, I love it. All right, I'm going to snap us a picture about that. So I know we kind of did Thirsty Thursday, but I didn't even mention it. I got my water, and I had Recover too. I had like all kinds of drinks sitting here. So if you got a water, hold it up, and I'll take a picture. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's cute. You guys are awesome. All right, ladies. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I will see you guys. Tomorrow is just music day, so bring your favorite song. We'll just play music and do like a free day journal. Maybe we'll work on our dreams a little bit more. I know it's kind of like, oh, she's talking about dreams again. Yes, I am. And we'll continue to talk about your dreams, and we'll continue to talk about your goals until we achieve them. Okay? And then we'll set new ones, and we'll keep talking about them then. Okay? They never go away, so get used to it. All right, ladies. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys later.
And
Bye.
Jenny, what's
Yeah.
what's our theme for tomorrow?
Ooh, a theme for tomorrow.
Because I missed the water one.
You like
You
the
were
water?
snapping the picture. I was reaching. I'm like telling my kids, grab my water, grab my water.
I'll like put a little like picture of like a little drink in your picture or something like
That
you know what
sounds
I mean?
good.
Like, like do a little emoji in yours. Tomorrow, does anybody have an idea of what we could do tomorrow? Like off the top of their head? Maybe mix match day? Like crazy day? Crazy outfit day? I
Hobo,
know some of you guys go to work.
like hobo, bohemian kind of style day.
What is it?
Like what you're saying, mixed match, like kind of boho, just kind of.
Yeah, let's do mix match day. So like plaid and stripes or like, you know, like weird things that you like normally wouldn't, or like floral and
Okay.
yeah, like let's just do like something funky. We'll see what I come up with. I love these things. They always get me excited. All right, so mix match day. I'm gonna try to remember to post it right after here. I'm gonna get on my phone and post it for tomorrow so people can be aware. I hate that I forget to do it, so I'm gonna try and be better about it though. Promise. All right, mix match day is tomorrow and music day. Awesome. All right, ladies, have a good day. Bye.